quagmire for Mr. Matiangi. What do you think, if you were consulting for Mr. Matiangi, what do you tell him? How does he make sure that these demons do not following him? Does he say, okay, I did something wrong, I had a rush of blood, I was confused, people of Kenya, please forgive me, let us move on. Should I be president, I will never do that again. All right?
Yeah, Jagero, first of all, I think Matiangi needs to understand that the law does not insulate you from public perception.
Okay.
Because there is a very thin line between fact and reality.
Yep.
It is factual that the courts cleared you. That's a fact. But the reality is that what played in the gallery of the public eye of the Kenyan, they were able to see. And that is why no matter how many times you repeat that the court cleared you, they were here.
Okay. They saw it.
They saw Matiangi being deported. Miguna being deported.
Yeah.
They saw the back and forth with the court orders. These people were here. So at the end of the day, as you put up your case as a presidential candidate, you need to understand that you are not going to win the war on public perception by using facts only.
Okay.
Especially where reality was in the face of the people to see. So, and I feel that is what Matiangi does not quite get right. He's sticking to facts as they are. And that's why, Jagero, you listen, no matter how long he chooses to explain it, 2-3 hours later, when we go to the comment section that Jeff reads, 3/4 of the complaints are on the same issues he has been struggling
to explain.
That shows you that the reality is embedded in the people.
Yep.
And the other thing is that Matiangi is struggling a lot with the accountability question. He was doing very well, in my view, when that interview started and moving on like that, and how he was bullshitting every other thing that is being done.
Yeah.
And
nonsense.
And of course, using the word nonsense more than 50 times.
Yeah.
And he was positioning himself as this saint that is coming to now fix everything. Now, things were going very well until the question came on the subject of accountability. Before we got to the accountability question, Jagero, there are some things you'll remember he said. First, Matiangi told us that the government knows everything. He said that the CS Interior knows everything. This is when he was talking about the aspect of goons and such kind of thing. He said there is no way you can say you don't know. Government has eyes everywhere and it actually knows everything. Fast forward, when he is now asked about Rivayala, he says government has systems.
These backtracks.
So now he's not telling us how government knows everything. In fact, he makes a case and says, if a teacher impregnates a student in some school, it does not mean the minister must resign.
Yes.
Okay? So when it comes to the accountability question, he now starts hiding through the legal processes and the policy formulation. Because if government knew everything, then he was also supposed to tell us where government was when the Shakahola massacre was happening. Because it happened during his time as Minister of Interior. If government knows everything, he was supposed to give us very exact answers about the issues of Baby Pendo and the 17 people who died during the protests in Azimio. But when it comes to that, he runs back and says, no, there are processes, there are institutions that have to handle this. But when he is talking about the same issues under the current administration, he wants us to blame the current office holders. But when we talk about the same context of issues, when he was in office, he wants us to go legal. He wants us to start talking about separation of powers. He wants us to talk about policy.
Yeah.
Now you can see that is being evasive. Unfortunately, the common Kenyan, especially one who can sit through a 3-hour interview, is slightly more intelligent than that. And he'll be able to see that now, I think this is just a question of when I am out, it is bad. When I am in, it is good. So at the end, as I told you, Jagero, that the person who loves Matiangi loved the interview. Why? Because he loves him for the abrasiveness, and that came out very heavily. Whether abrasiveness is a quality of leadership, it is now, that's neither here nor there. I have different opinion about that. But that person who is the voter for him loves that, and it came out. But the other person who is still thinking, okay, I'm looking for someone to support, could not find Matiangi accountable for anything. In short, he called himself a saint throughout that interview and said he is responsible for nothing he did everything right. There is nothing that can be blamed on him. And therefore, he's the best pair of hands. He kept telling us that, just give me this job. Yeah, just give me this job. And now, what he needs to understand effectively is that the weight, when people find you accountable, you win their trust the more. That is why recently, Honorable Kimani Kuria was able to win the trust of the people despite him being drunk on TV. And that is how people moved away from Ndindi Nyoro. They're able to see that, wait a minute, this gentleman, yes, he's a bit tipsy. He's a bit tipsy. But from the moment Kimani Kuria said, the people who moved the VAT from 8% to 16%, we are here. I am one of them. And I accept. He earned the trust of the people from there. So sometimes for you to earn the trust of the people, the best PR strategy for you is to take responsibility.
Right.
How does